What's going on, guys? It is Ian from the Apostles of Anime, and for those of you who don't know already, the author, creator of Berserk, Kentaro Miura, has passed away. Now, I've seen a couple videos already talking about his passing. Obviously, this death has affected not just the anime community, but the world and storytelling as we know it. And I'm seeing more and more of people sharing their stories about how Berserk and this man, Kentaro, have affected their lives deeply. And I figured that I would share my brief story about Berserk and my love for it, because this story has had a profound impact on my life, literally life-changing. And I don't joke when I say that. I really mean it. I do apologize if this video is a little off the cuff. There's just a lot of emotions running high right now, and it's hard to not get choked up a bit here. But I didn't get into anime itself until really recently, within the past couple years, and Berserk was one of the first anime that I had ever seen. It was somewhere like third or fourth. And I had initially started with the movies, and I instantly fell in love with it for everything that it had to offer. And long story short, I eventually read the manga, which was the first manga that I have ever read, and still my favorite to this day. And not only my favorite manga, but my favorite story of all time. There wouldn't be an Apostles of Anime if it was not for Berserk. At the time that I had gotten into this story, I was going through a time in my life where I was kind of floating in just this ether, in this state of flux, really without any sort of specific plan in mind. I wasn't as disciplined as I should have been, and I never really had a full understanding for the amount of suffering that people can go through, but more importantly, I never fully understood how many people were able to overcome that suffering within them and that struggle and emerge victorious, survive, and thrive. And it wasn't until I got into this story that a lot of my perspectives flipped and changed for the better. And I could go through every minute detail of how it helped me in just daily life, but to sum it all up, not to make this video too long because it's not about me, the story of Berserk, Kentaro Miura, has changed my life for the better. I have pushed myself to new heights. I have tried to look at life more gratefully now and try to be more empathetic to others for the things that they've been going through. And I've constantly told myself that I can make it through whatever life throws my way, and I know that you can too, because I tend to see more and more now people doing it every day. It jumps out at me, whereas before I didn't necessarily notice that, or at least chose not to. And there have been just times when I think of this story when I'm going through something that seems to be an issue or a struggle or a problem. And even though it's a work of fiction, it doesn't really matter, because it just speaks to that human condition, what it means to struggle and what it means to persevere. And it hits it on such a deep level that it's hard not to be impacted by this story. So I just wanted to share that little piece of information with you. And just, if anything, to remind folks that when you strive towards something so passionately and give it your absolute all, it becomes infectious in all the best ways and inspiring. And it's hard as a person to not be consumed by that overwhelming amount of passion and not be inspired by it, no matter who you are or what it is that this person is so passionate about. And I know, even as a small content creator, one of the greatest compliments that I could get is that I have had an impact on somebody's life. And I'm sure Kentaro had a pretty good idea of the fact that he was reaching so many people, but I hope that he was able to rest easy knowing that he genuinely touched and impacted profoundly the lives of so many of these people for the overwhelming good and betterment of themselves in such a positive light. And I couldn't be more thankful for it. Berserk will be forever immortalized. Kentaro Miura will be forever immortalized. I wanted to end with a comment that I actually found. I was watching the Masked Man's video on this, and somebody by the name of Red Jesus commented, and I thought it summed up pretty perfectly the way that I would like to look at this now that what has happened has happened. And this person says, quote, "An old friend once told me something that gave me great comfort, something he read. He said Mozart, Beethoven, and Chopin never died. They simply became music." And I thought of that as it relates to Kentaro and the story Berserk, and it gave me great happiness and comfort to know that, to me, Kentaro will really never die in my heart. He has just become manga. He has become this amazing and profound story. He has become this embodiment of inspiration for people all around the world, and he has become an embodiment of what it means to struggle, but not only to struggle, but to persevere. And for that, we should be truly thankful. To Kentaro's family, I offer my deepest condolences, and I pray for their strength and comfort in this overwhelmingly sad time. And I hope that they can take solace in the fact that Kentaro has impacted so many lives around him for the better. But with all this said, rest in peace to the greatest to ever do it, Kentaro Miura.